I hear the voices inside my head, see voices behind the wall, uplifting the underdog, we fighting above the law.
Can you hear me now? Hey, cool gamer. Jaded. It might be a little bit staticky as I set up the microphone more in the middle because we're going to have Mark, Courtney, and Cassidy, aka Bambi, Jules. Hey, Brandy. Hey, Thor. Jared Brown. Been a while since I seen you. Cool gamer. Who we got up there? High Priestess was in here. Taylor. Charlie came back home. Have you guys looked at this case much? You guys know much about this case? I'm gonna guess not, but this is true crime. I know who this rapper is. I like some of his songs. My kids know who he is, so it's definitely a case we discuss here amongst ourselves. So I thought we would make it into a little series, and we'll all talk about it. Hi, Freedom. Because let me tell you, you guys know I do not like wrong convictions and stuff like that. And if we're going to go by evidence, I cannot for the life of me figure out how this man is up on death penalty. And there is serious lack of evidence. Like, we can have our thoughts and opinions, right? But it's when it comes down to actual evidence, there's none. Hey, Trey, Nikki Two Poles. Hey, y'all. Hey. So I'm going to turn the camera back on in a few minutes because I'm going to enjoy a Canadian treat, okay? While we discuss. But we're going to get into... What? Cute. We're going to get into... I'm live right now. We're going to pull some stuff up. And tonight, since I'm going to guess 99% of y'all that'll be in here tonight doesn't know much about this case at all. So we're just going to do like a little recapping tonight. Let you know about this case. And then, yes, we'll start digging in because, trial's going to start again tomorrow. But it doesn't sound like this is going to be over with till kind of mid to end of July. So, we've got some time to catch y'all up to speed and continue to follow on if you guys want to. Now, this is supposed to be true crime that I signed up for, and this is a true crime case. So, we won't have the numbers like the drama and all of that from, Ben Hill drama and all that, but that is okay, right? Hi, Priestess. Patty Ponytail. Did I say hi, Jaded? Black Widow channel. Hello. You don't know a thing about this case. Okay. Girls, you're gonna join? Okay. What? Okay. Grab a chair. My eyes still watering. So, hey guys.
Sorry, my
kind of
eyes been
scooch
watering
more if you want. Mark's gonna join in a couple minutes too. Now, okay. Recap of this case. This is a rapper. I think he's like 23 years old. It's a lot of confusion online if you're new to this case, because this is not the first time that this rapper has been in trouble. Had trial for, I believe, a double homicide the first time too. So, there's that. Let's pull something up. They're all saying hi to you. I'll turn the camera back on in a minute. Don't worry, guys. Let's pull up a couple things just so you can kind of get an idea of this case. It's Ynw, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's a good kind of starter recap? So he's currently on trial for double homicide. Ynw, it was a group of what, 3, 4
I don't know.
guys. Melly, who also very openly speaks about having split personalities, bipolar, and I believe is diagnosed. If he's not, he speaks openly about it, so he's at least self-diagnosed himself. And if you guys know Nicki Minaj, she kind of has what we call a split personality persona when she raps, right? I can't remember. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head right now. But Melly, whose real name is Jamell, he goes by Melly. He goes by Melvin, and then there's a couple other personas that he has. And Melvin is the persona kind of like Melly and Melvin are the kind of angel and demon, voices, if you will. So there is kind of like I see a lot online joking like Melly's innocent, but not Melvin. Yeah, Melvin is the bad voice, if you will. I'm trying to see here. Okay, let's see. Let's see here.
Like Melvin, my other person inside, Melvin, that motherfucker, every day, all day. That's what people think. Shit, some people think about pussy when they wake up. Some people think about shoes. Some people think about weird shit. And they wake up with the murder on his mind. And I'm like, hey, bro, do you?
Okay, and we're gonna talk about that because that's a lot of things he was just talking about. I wake up with murder on my mind. When you guys go to look into this case, and I hope you do, because we're gonna continue talking about this. Like I said, I'm hooked on this every day, right? I'm hooked on this just like I was the Johnny Depp trial. And again, if you're into true crime, this case has a lot of twists. If you just don't put any research into it or whatever, and you just see what social media puts out, you're gonna be like guilty, 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 right? But if you actually take the time and look, you kind of you'll see more, like, and exactly, hey Zena, why we want to talk about it, because it's not just so surface like that. You have to dig deeper, because honestly, I do not think he's guilty, even though that's what the whole world right now thinks, and especially because of this one song. But again, in doing research, we'll pull it all up tonight. The song was actually written and put out and released, and the music video released well before these murders happened. Another thing they're going to say is that Melly, or Jamell, has always, since being a young kid, been obsessed with guns, toy guns. He loved his toy guns. I'm sorry, but what young boy does not at one point have kind of an obsession with guns or toy guns? Like even Seth and Malin, but not because they want to shoot people, just because it's very much, in my opinion, it's like girls liking Barbies or girls liking dolls. It's almost like put into us as children, But my kids are into hunting, so my son he loves guns. He likes to hunt. He knows about guns, but you also will never catch him bringing one to school, or bringing even a shell to school, or some stupid like that. But anyways, that's beside the point. But to say that a 5-year-old, 6, 7-year-old boy had a fascination with guns, and to try and hold that against him, as an adult in the court of law, to me, is ridiculous. There was an instance again. I think people did die in the past situation, right?
I don't know.
We're gonna pull all that up. We're gonna get to all of that, but currently he is in jail being held, and death penalty in Florida is on the table for him. And again, you're gonna see there's just such a lack of evidence. So for killing the other 2 members in YNW's rap group, if you will. Let's continue listening to this here. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to rewind it like that.
Like Melvin.
Hey,
Other
America.
person inside Melvin, that motherfucker, yeah, every day, all day. That's what people think about. Shit, some people think about pussy when they wake up. Some people think about shoes. Some people think about weird shit. Then they wake up with the murder on his mind. I'm like, dang, bro.
Sorry.
Do you? Melvin, yay. Ynw-Melly. Straight up. I found my first gun when I was 9 years old. Ever since then, like growing up, I was so addicted to the bitch. I love the bitch. If you up that bitch at a nigga and bust his ass, that's his soul in there. Like, it's death in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? All I gotta do is up this motherfucker in your ass. Just you disappear, bitch. Yellow tape around his body, it's a fucking homicide.
Oh,
His
those are
face
the
is on
lyrics to
t-shirt
his
and
song
family's
there,
traumatized.
which
I
we'll
didn't
get to
even
that.
mean to shoot him. He just caught me by surprise. I reloaded my pistol, cocked it back and shot him twice. His body dropped down to the floor and he had teardrops in.
This is definitely what's going around. They're using this, to say he's guilty, that this is a self-confession, whatever, but it's not. When you do the research, you'll see the song was made a year and a half before the drive-by shootings.
In his eyes. He grabbed me by my hands and said he was afraid to die. I told him it's too late, my friend, it's time to say goodbye. And he died inside my arms, blood all on my shirt. You should get an XD instead of a Glock. Less recoil, very persistent aim in the shoot gun. That's what you should start off with. That's what I have to say about gun safety. Never point it at your friend. You're gonna go very far. What's the difference? Woo. Not Melvin. Can't say too much. But Melvin, you know how to control. You know how to control his anger in himself.
Can
Melvin,
you hear it? Okay.
I only let him out at nighttime. And I need to stop doing that. Like when the night hits, he really come. And it's like, Melvin is just like, once you play with Melly to a certain extent, Melvin just don't like that. Melvin on your ass. No cap. He on your ass. He don't play. Don't fuck with him. I used to want to kill myself. I really used to. I got Baker at this. This shit y'all don't know about me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got Baker at it like 4 times. Like, trying to kill myself. You know, I know how I feel. I'm just so glad God ain't let me do that, you know? Don't listen to the voices telling you to do that because it's not right. Don't listen to nobody who ever tell you. Because I had somebody like that telling me that.
And another thing, too, that people have to remember, like, just because somebody raps about something, right, or puts something on their social media does not mean it's true. Like, rapping about, I don't know, whatever, gang stuff, violence, shooting something, someone, like, it doesn't mean that it's true. And yeah, people saying that they're using this against them in court, it's actually not true. I haven't actually heard them play it in the trial at all yet, but I mean, of course, it's an ongoing rumor.
Right.
Say you want someone. Say you want someone. Said you want someone. Say you want someone. I think I got mixed personalities.
That's what, yeah, Huggies has hired Boozy's lawyer. Who got Boozy out of a murder charge? Now, Boozy's a different story. I'm not a fan of Boozy, okay, because other reasons, but that aside.
I hit my head under the couch. When I hit my head under the couch, I stayed up for a little bit. I seen some shit shining. It was a 22 revolver, a real gun. I'm a kid though, so I just walk out the house and I shot that bitch. And I couldn't hear out my ear for like a week. But then I was like, damn, this is a real gun, you know what I'm saying? I was only in 4th grade, but I took that bitch everywhere. To school, I took that bitch everywhere. I always kept that innocent look, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want Melly the Menace to be revealed at that time, you know what I'm saying? So I always dressed like this, but the whole time I'm in school, every day, I got my pistol on me.
He should be.
Sometimes
If we're going by evidence, he should be.
You would never suspect it.
I was terrified. It's like I was really
We're
responsible
going
for
back to
myself, and now
now.
I'm like responsible
Hold
for
on,
a whole
pause
person.
this.
And
2018 is when this happened. So, really quick, when you look this up online, you're gonna see the song. So I'll pull up the song. Well, actually, we'll pull up with the lyrics because. So it's called Murder on My Mind. Murder on My Mind. Oh, we can look it up on here. Okay. Well, we'll do the video. Because that's another thing people are saying. Well, he made the music video after and it's a confession. The music video is a confession. Again, no, it's not. And before I forget, let's just do that right now. You see beautiful Courtney? Oh, she's not here. That's why. We'll do that right now. Let me just we'll do. So if I'm not mistaken, he wrote this song, Murder on My Mind. Song is not written as a confession. So the song was released March 2017. Okay, the song was released. Now it was written before it was released, right? So long, 2017. The murders occurred October 2018. Now, song was released in 2017. So it was written before that. Now I'll find when the music video was actually made, and when the music video was released was August of 2018. And again, the murders occurred in October. So again, song was written, song was released, and the music video was made and released all before the murders even happened. Murders October 2018. Okay? So that right there, like, if anyone on the social media even did 5 seconds of investigating into this, that would not even be a thing being used all over social media because it doesn't add up. So the biggest rumor is that this is a confession and that it's being used in trial. It is not. It is not. So now we will, I'm going to turn the camera off for a minute. We will share the music video, which I'm going to have to pause, you guys know. But let's hear it for the sake of, what's going around. The masked witness, yes, we're going to get to that for sure because he was unmasked and he also spoke in, how do you say, XXX is murder. This same masked, undercover, he claims he is in, I think he says he is in the Bloods, and so he's trying to hide himself. But he sat at the courthouse for well over an hour, not wearing the mask. So everyone knows his name. And also, I did a quick Google search. You can see the guy. I mean, you can see his Facebook. So I'm not quite sure if that's just for dramatic effect or what. But it's ridiculous. But we will definitely get there to High Priestess. Absolutely.
Shot. Or 11187.
Hey, I'm in the studio, bro. Oh, no, you ain't called me, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I'm at the studio. Hold up, though. I ain't get the roll, no.
Hey Sharon. Hi everyone. Everyone coming in. You guys, yeah, sorry, we gotta pause here and there. But again, closed caption on. You can see what the lyrics are. You can see the music video again. We just Googled it, so this is all out, written, thought of, and put out before the murders happened. But again, this is what's being held against them.
Ain't get to roll no swishers. I was locked up on Christmas. Ain't get to see my niggas. Ain't get to hug my mama. Couldn't even give her no kisses. Can't even post on my Instagram. Could he pussy nigga be snitching? Everybody acting suspicious. Might probably say that I'm tripping. When I'm all alone in my jail cell, I tend to get in my feelings. And all I smoke is that loud. Don't pass me no midget. And I'ma smoke all of my pain away, cause that's the only thing that gon' heal it. I don't understand these women who go around pretending as if they really fuck with me. So I love them all from a distance. Cause the same bitch say she down to ride, be the main one who tricking. Got my limits with promethazine, cause every time I...
He's got a Sublime shirt on.
Yeah, does he?
Yeah.
So, the lyrics, as you guys can already tell, I mean, yeah, they don't sound good with what happened, but then again... Yep, go ahead.
I feel like he's just, like, exaggerating, like, how someone's just, like
rappers
I
have
hate
different
these
quotes.
bitches, I wish I could fight them. Just more, like, exaggerated.
Yeah.
It's just saying, like, I'm thinking about these bitches I hate.
Yeah.
Not actually that he's gonna murder these people, like...
Yeah. And also, again, the rap... Like, the culture in rap, people, they say...
Like, just because he was saying it doesn't mean
yeah,
it's true.
You know, Eminem did not...
I was just say Eminem sings about being, like, gay.
Well, he does that, but he's also talked about murdering his baby mama and stuff like that. And, you know, he didn't do that.
About killing Kim.
Exactly.
He didn't do that.
He didn't do that, right? So...
I wake up in the morning, I got murder on my mind. AK-47s, Mac 11s, Glocks and 9s, and all these pussy niggas hating, trying to knock me off my grind.
N-word on this one, my bad.
But I can't let them do it, I got murder on my mind, bitch, I got murder on my mind. Bitch, I got murder on my mind. I got murder on my mind.
Oh, exactly, yes.
I got murder on my mind.
But even with his personality disorder, does not mean that he is guilty of, let's be honest, staging a drive-by shooting in a car that he was in. And if you actually look at the evidence pictures, the back of the car was shot too. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then he also drove everybody to the hospital. Now, this is where the girls and I, in talking, Cassidy did say that that would be a perfect cover-up.
I don't really know much, so I'm not saying like he did do it, but it would be a good
just
cover.
us talking in our own. Yes, they said it would be a good cover up. Now me, I'm thinking, I don't know, that would be very ballsy of a young black male to shoot his friends, kill them, then stage it as a drive-by shooting and drive to the hospital. Like, to me, I'm thinking, like, no way is he doing that, right? But
I think that's the whole reason why it would be a good cover, though.
some would say it is a good cover, and there's others online that think like that as well.
But I don't
What do you think
know
about
anything
that?
about him. I don't know if he did it.
Good.
So-
No, and that's just our opinion.
No,
That's
no,
just
no.
us
just
chatting.
saying,
You know,
yeah.
yeah. What do you think, Courtney? Would that be a good cover up, or you think that's just no way?
I didn't hear what you said.
Melly staging the drive-by and then going to the hospital, and people saying that that's just him being covering it up.
I don't know.
Hi, Easy. Used to know me as a different name that I had to change to. Oh, well, welcome.
I got murder on my mind. I got murder on my mind. Yellow tape around his body. It's a fucking homicide. His face is on a t-shirt and his family's traumatized. I didn't even mean to shoot him. He just caught me by surprise. I reloaded my pistol, cocked it back and shot him twice. His body dropped down to the floor and he had teardrops in his eyes. He grabbed me by my hands and said he was a...
Yeah. I mean, that would take... Now, last I heard, because there is another person involved, he is also in jail along with Melly. But as far as I know, they both have the same story, or has the other one turned? Like I said, this is ongoing every day. So, hour by hour, there's something different on this. So, easy cush days. Look, Orlando Brown has came out and said industry does these things and they sell their soul to be rich.
Can I have the empty can?
Right. I know what I think about, you know, I have my whole conspiracy theories too on Offset's murder, sacrifice, in my opinion. You know, and I 100% believe Quavo was involved in that. But that's my opinion. That's my conspiracy theory.
Afraid to die. I told him it's too late, my friend, it's time to say goodbye. And he died inside my arms.
Okay, that's right. The friend drove to the hospital. Melly got out of the car, allegedly. Or was he even in the car? Yeah. That's right. Low Andy, that's right.
Blood all on my shirt. Wake up in the morning, I got murder on my mind. AK.
We're gonna speed that up because I can see there.
I think his friend that drove them to the hospital did it.
Do you?
I don't really know anything.
And how long? Yeah, we got a lot to go through with this, y'all. But I definitely, you should be look into this, you know, on your own time, because we're going to be doing more lives on this. But yeah, that is interesting, and I thought that as well, because I kind of did wonder if Melly was the target, because it would be perfect to, let's just say, like XXX talked about, you know, his death too before he was shot and murdered. So there was like some weird stuff with that. I mean, I cannot say for sure that Melly was not intended to be killed in this, and it would be a perfect thing to talk about because of this here song and music video, right? Perhaps they thought Melly was in the car. I don't really know. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot to go through, and I kind of caught on to this midway into it, so I'm myself playing catch up with all this. The lyrics do cut deep. Yes, Drake. Oh, I believe that too, High Priestess. That's definitely a conspiracy I have as well. That Drake got out of it somehow.
And I think that even if Melly did do it, they don't have enough evidence to get him for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. And we'll pull that up next
But I
with
don't
the.
think that he did. I feel like
We'll
if you
pull
just
up what they
watching the
have on
video,
him.
it's-
47s, Mac 11, Glocks and 9s, and all these pussy niggas hating, trying to knock me off my grind. But I can't let them do it. I got murder on my mind, bitch. I got murder on my mind. I I got murder on my mind. 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 Like what you're actually, bitch, I'm an animal. Melly's a savage, no, he not no amateur. Back his name at you, fucked up on camera. Bitch, I'm a murderer. I'ma just kill him, but don't wanna kill him. But make them all say he won't beef, we gon' grill the boy. I'm bleeding so good, I might dip his ass in it and spill the boy. Murder on my mind.
Oh shit, we're gonna place the pause there, right?
I like the other.
I believe that too, High Priestess.
Oh, I got murder on my mind. I got murder on my mind. I got murder on my mind. Wake up in the morning, I got murder on my mind. AK-47s, Mac 11, Glocks, and
So in this video, like, he was in the drive-by, or, well, no, he's saying what, well, everyone in the car died except for him, right? And that's exactly what happened here. Well, his one buddy actually lived as well. Can't remember his name. Somebody coming out with how this industry is really ran. Yeah, Jaded. It's true. There's a lot, and I've been watching that. I watch that stuff every day, and it's hard not to
I know
believe.
the industry is weird, but I also feel like that doesn't mean every single thing
I don't think
that happens is because of that.
Yeah, I don't
Like, there
think
are just,
every-
like, some things that are,
Some
like,
people
happening.
talk about it and act like they're part of this, we'll say Illuminati and call it for clout, right?
I was
Because
saying,
they think
some
it's
people
cool.
are just lying, but I
Yeah.
do think some people are legit.
Some of it is true, but some of it we can't believe either. You know what I mean? Some of the people that speak about it and it's like, well, they don't seem to have no fear about dying. Well, we know the people that actually let the guy,
Jim Carrey.
what's why can I not think of his name right now?
I don't know.
There are people that are actually afraid to talk who have witnessed things, and people who have actually died who did talk, and we could tell how scared they were of talking and actually did die. Corey's, you know, I'm thinking of, and I can't believe that I'm spacing on his name right now because it's the guy that Woody killed. What's his name?
I don't know who Woody is.
The comedian. Curly
Woody-
hair. I cannot.
Woody
Don't say his name because I have lost a channel to that. But
The
the
actor?
cartoon Woody, the cowboy, the actual person who
Oh.
plays that. Don't say the
I know
name.
who.
Had this person offed. Dr. Phil, good to see you.
Dr. Phil.
Why can I not think of his name right now? The Lord's like, stop talking right now. I'm
I'm not saying it out
the
loud.
one who died. I can't remember his
Oh.
name. That's terrible. You know who I'm talking about.
I know the actor.
No. The person who I'm talking to the
Oh.
chat. The person who passed away. Not the actor who's still alive, but no, not him. Tim Allen is still alive. The comedian that supposedly threw himself off a bridge. I cannot believe I'm spacing on his name right now. Who's got it in the chat?
nines and all these pussy niggas hating, trying to knock me off my grind. But I can't let them do it. I got murder on my mind, bitch. I got murder on my mind. 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 Murder on my mind. Oh, young in the world, bitch. Oh.
Wow. I can't believe it.
What?
Google is a failure. Yes, thank you, Cappy. Isaac Cappy, yeah. Thank you, because Google was just not helpful, so there they go again. Silencing. Isaac Cappy, thank you, yes. Okay, let's pull up what they have for main evidence against Melly.
I want to take that. Me personally.
No, that's like not what I wanted. Okay. Oh, and another thing, prosecution went to get DNA evidence off the outside handle of the rear, the passenger behind the driver. If I'm not mistaken, passenger behind the driver, on the outside of the handle. It took 3 times, okay? So the first time they went to get DNA, Melly's DNA was not there. Second time they went to get the DNA off there, Melly's DNA was not there. Third time they went to get, now, mind you, this is going back to 2018. We're in 2023, okay? Third time they go, they do it just a couple weeks ago while this trial is happening, and boom, Melly's DNA is all of a sudden there. Now, not only that, but they decide to turn that evidence in and not give copies. Like, they decide to just throw it in there like no one's gonna notice that it wasn't there the entire time. You can't do that. You have to give Melly's defense copy of what you're using against him in court. You have to give the judge and everybody, right? You can't just throw it in there and hope to God nobody notices. So now prosecution is in trouble with that. The judge is a fair judge. I thought the judge was not going to be very fair, because if you look at him, he's kind of older, looks kind of like good old boys club, if I'm not going to lie, right? And white, if I'm being honest. So I was kind of thinking Melly will not get a fair shake here, but he is. This judge is actually being fair, pointing out, you know, the BS on both sides. But man, the judge was pissed on prosecution for that bullshit, as he should be. Redneck Wookie, hey brother. Puddin', Kentucky girl. Hi sister, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hi Megs, missed you too. Heathen 74, hey boo. The girls were just asking about wax warmers. Were your ears tingling? Okay. All right, really quick while this is up here. Now, we talked about one of the people testifying against Melly is this masked guy who is undercover, works in the gangs, you know, undercover gang unit. And he had to be masked. Even though he sat there in court for hours with no mask, he just had to be masked when the cameras turned on. Let's play that part a little bit here. Masked witness. He has a $50,000 bounty on his head. So he decides to sit at the courthouse in a high-profile case that's being televised with no mask on. Like in a... Yeah, okay, so don't tell me that they're just trying to make this look worse on Melly, because this is ridiculous. So, let's play through this part here. Hold up, wait a minute. Because, yeah, absolutely insane. Hold up. Wait a minute.
Thank you. And please have a seat.
Thank you.
Detective Polo, what's happened is you're wearing a mask now. Defendants have objected to that.
Yes, sir. Please state your full legal name for the record. Danny Polo. Please spell your first and last name. DANNYPOLO.
I get a little bit passionate sometimes, yes. Very weird.
Detective Polo, what's happened is you're wearing a mask now. Defendants have objected to that.
Yes, sir.
And the state indicated that it's been done in other courtrooms and there's a predicate for it, I guess because of
Hi,
safety
Maria.
and security is the way I understand it. Specifically your safety and security.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct, madam?
Yes, Your Honor.
So I want you to come in here. I want to take some testimony from you outside the presence of the jury just to verify all of this. So, Ms. Bradley, I want to head inquire.
Detective Polo, how are you so employed?
With Broward County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you worked for Broward County Sheriff's Office?
Since 2015.
How long have you been assigned to the Strategic Investigations Division?
Since March of 2018.
In your time in the Strategic Investigations Division for SID, have you worked undercover operations?
Since that time and before.
And the undercover operations that you work, what type are they?
Majority of them are narcotics, firearms, violent crimes, gang-related investigations.
How many years did you spend specifically in the gang and organized crime section of the Strategic Investigations Division?
From March 2018 till 3 weeks ago.
Have there been credible threats on your life?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this dude makes no sense. If the gang wanted him that bad, he would have been shot up sitting outside. He sat outside. They even said, "Did you sit outside the courthouse? Outside the courthouse, unmasked?" And he said, "Yes, I did." They said, "For about how long?" He goes, "About an hour." Are you fucking kidding me?
Is there currently a credible threat on your life?
Yes.
In terms of is there an amount of money assigned to the death of you that has been offered up?
Approximately $50,000.
In terms of your safety and security, why do you wear a mask? For those reasons.
To protect my family. So I'm not walking around Broward County, Palm Beach County, Dade County, anywhere, and get ambushed by someone that might be looking for me. We've done cell phone warrants on multiple people in Broward County involved in the investigation work after threat. And outside of that investigation, there's photographs of deputies being sent around, people trying to figure out who I am and what I look like. And that's a kind of a concern for me. If it was just one person, I'd probably just write it off. But after 5 or 6 cell phones got downloaded and there was pictures of.
I'm gonna speed it up one more notch too, just for the how terms of service and that. Plus, this dude, so concerned.
Many deputies being sent around saying, "Is this Danny Polo?" I'm like, okay, these guys are actually looking for me.
And so, Detective Polo, with regards to the other times you testified in court, did you testify earlier this month before the Honorable Judge Martin Fine?
Yes.
Yes, 3-second recap. Melly is a rapper who is standing trial for double homicide. They have death penalty on the table. And there is very much big lack of evidence in this trial. So you can tell because of Melly's history, who has been in trouble before over a shooting. We'll have to cover that at a different time. But in my opinion, prosecution just wants to do very little work, and they want to arrest Melly. Like, they want this to be a big case that they all put to bed. But there's no evidence. Like, it's actually pretty bad. And I can actually see Melly getting out and having a lawsuit against them. And then this is going to end up something like the Avery situation, where they are not going to want to look wrong in this or give a young rapper who's also a young black male who has previous record, I guess, if you will. Like, they don't care about what's right or actually having evidence. They just want what they want, and they see that this is high profile, and they had their names in there, and they're the ones who got Melly arrested and all this bullshit. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, it's retarded. Hey, come on.
How were you attired?
I believe I was wearing this suit probably.
And in terms of your face, how was that?
Same mask.
Have you testified before the Honorable Judge Michael Duson in this courthouse?
Yes.
Was that in or around February and March of this year, 2023?
Yes.
And what case was that on?
That was the XXX sentencing case.
And that was the death of that individual?
Yes.
How many times did you testify in that case?
It was twice.
How were you attired when you testified then?
Different suit, same mask.
And in terms of during that particular testimony, were individuals trying to call your cell phone and get in contact with you during the actual testimony?
Yeah, that happened.
And was this testimony live streamed as well?
It was live streamed.
Yeah. Thank you.
You have any questions? Yes. On this issue, go ahead.
Okay.
What
We
time
will
did you
get
get
back
to
to
the courthouse?
this. Let's pull up the evidences. Or hold up. One second. Yeah, lack of evidence. This one. It's not the one I watched either. I'll have to find the other one. We can look at this one here.
I'm Ynw-Melly, and thanks for joining us here on Law and Crime. It's Friday afternoon, and we are having our special lunch hour Q&A, but we have an added bonus for you this Friday. We're going to be taking your questions here for 2 hours. So submit them to us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. And of course, this is all about the Ynw-Melly trial that's taking place in Broward County, Florida. It's a double murder trial, and Melly, whose legal name is Jamell Demons, faces 2 counts of first-degree murder and the possibility of the death penalty for.
There is not enough evidence in this case. I don't know how any juror can feel comfortable convicting him knowing death penalties on the table with the evidence. Now, just look at the evidence and you tell me if you think that death penalty should even be on the table or discussed at all.
The October 2018 shooting deaths of his 2 friends, Chris Thomas Jr., who went by YNW Juvie, and Anthony Williams, who went by YNW Sack Chaser. Cortland Henry, who went by YNW Bortland, is a co-conspirator in this case, and he is charged separately and will go to trial at a later date. So, as I mentioned, we'll be taking your questions.
And can we all agree that Sack Chaser is not a good rap name? Like, I know Duffel Bag Boy was already taken, but Sack Chaser?
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you got on the bottom, you can see what they're doing on the bottom. Talk about smear campaign, y'all. So we got Melly on the bottom, and then Tiger King star Doc Anthem.
As we always do, we're here for 2 hours, and we're really excited about it. Let's check in first with Terry Austin, who is here with us, fresh back from the Broward County Courthouse in Florida. Court is dark on Fridays. Terry, what were your thoughts? You were in the courtroom all week long.
Well, Antoinette, it was riveting. There was a lot going on. Judge Murphy was getting a little bit impatient with both sides. At one point, defense and the prosecution were bickering about documents, and the judge said, look, and he said this to the prosecution, just produce the documents, because earlier the prosecution was sanctioned because she failed to produce some documents. So I think there's a lot of tension between the attorneys, and frankly, the judge is just ready to get this trial moving. The witnesses were also very interesting. We had someone who was talking about the cell phone data on cross-examination. The defense was very good at showing basically there's no way to pinpoint anyone's phone in the car. It could have been on the ground, it could have been on the forest, and it was such a general area, and there's a lot of discretion as far as the distance where you cannot specifically pinpoint that. We also had someone who testified about the DNA. And Anjanette, this was extremely interesting because Melly's DNA was not on any of the items, and there were a number of items in that car, including Gatorade bottles. There were sneakers in the car. There were samples taken from a T-shirt. He was not found on anything except the rear driver's door handle. And the interesting point about that is initially his DNA was not on that either, but a second follow-up just weeks ago showed that his DNA was there. So that was a little suspect, and it was a little interesting that it was only years after that they asked for this second follow-up on the DNA, and that's the only place where they found Melly's DNA. So I think some very interesting moments both on the witness stand and between the attorneys. The jury was paying very close attention. No one was asleep. Everyone was leaning up in their chair, even for the information that was a little bit tedious. And by the way, I must say, Melly paid close attention as well.
Oh, I'm sure he did, because literally his life is on the line. He faces the possibility of the death penalty. We've been telling everybody that since we started covering this case, and there's a lower threshold for that now in the state of Florida because of a new law signed just in April by Governor Ron DeSantis. The vote for a death penalty verdict now has to just be 8-4 instead of 12-0, the unanimous verdict that they used to have to impose the death penalty. Let's start taking some questions. Also with Terry and I today, Michael Bryant, an attorney and host here at the Law and Crime Network, and Bradford Cohen, who actually represented Ynw-Melly in this case a while back, no longer does. So thanks to everybody for being with us today. Our first question comes from Kayla Davis, 1919 from YouTube. How many jurors, I just kind of addressed that, have to agree guilty for him to get death, or will that be up to the judge? Just wondering about the death sentence. So Kayla, it's 8-4 under that new threshold, and that's only if he's convicted and the jury finds that. Let's get to our next question. Dare Lest, I should say.
It doesn't have to be unanimous. Unanimous? No? For death penalty, no. 8 of 12 people have to agree, and death penalties on the table. Did you hear enough evidence for death penalty?
No.
I mean,
say on Twitter, why didn't Melly have the option to be on house arrest / bond when he got locked up for this back in 2018? So Bradford, I feel like that's a question for you. Why didn't he get to be on house arrest?
In these type of cases, the judge holds a hearing, an Arthur hearing, essentially because there's no guarantee to bond on this type of case. So they would hold an Arthur hearing to find a proof evident presumption great, meaning if the state has enough to say that proof evident, which is lower than beyond a reasonable doubt, obviously, or presumption great. So he would hold that Arthur hearing. That Arthur hearing, he would make a finding of that. Even if he found that proof evident and presumption great was there, the judge could then use his discretion whether or not to give that individual bond, depending on the prior record, depending on what the accusations are in the case. And he would look at whether or not he was a flight risk, whether or not he was a harm to society or potential harm to society. And he would look at all those things and then weigh those things against whether or not they should hold him in custody. In this case, the judge felt that he should hold him in custody instead of giving him a bond or house arrest. In Cortland's case, Cortland Henry, who's the co-defendant, because he wasn't being accused of being the actual shooter, he was given a bond with house arrest. And I think he's been on house arrest since the incident occurred.
Oh, that's really interesting. Let's get to our next question. Jamaya Mendez from Facebook. Michael Bryant, at what point will we get evidence that means something? In other words, smoking gun evidence. You know, I'm thinking this is a circumstantial case. We don't often have smoking guns.
We don't have any gun in this case,
right, exactly.
Smoking or otherwise. You know, that's if everyone is asking that question, and believe me, it's not the first time it's been asked, that's a problem for the prosecution because we are waiting. We are at least halfway through their case, maybe 2/3, and we're still waiting for something that puts the weapon, at least theoretically, in the hand of Jamell Demons. I think there's some question whether we can put him in the car at the time of the shooting, whether that was a drive-by, as they suggest on the defense, or whether it was shooting from inside the vehicle. We know from video that he got in the car at some point, which doesn't surprise me that his DNA might be somewhere near the car. It was that whole thing that unfolded last week when we were on the air live, and you know, they found his DNA only after they went to a higher up in the Miramar Police Department, and they gave it another look. You know, that was bizarre. That was just 3 weeks before trial. So they had to work hard to find DNA to put him on or near the vehicle. You know, that's a far cry from being the guy in the car shooting the gun.
It's sure interesting to me.
And the other thing, I don't know when they're going to bring it up, but we'll bring it up. In the evidence pictures, there's definitely multiple different kinds of guns that were shot, because there's different size shells that I saw in the picture. So there's at least 2 different kinds of guns that were being shot. So that's weird. That tells me, now you can see the back of the Jeep that Melly was in, the back passenger behind the driver side. That whole back window for sure is all shattered out. Now the place where they say this happened, where there are shells left, 2 different ones I saw, and there's a bunch of glass, they said, is that from Melly's Jeep? And one of the people that's on the prosecution side said, no, not from the Jeep. Okay, so then what other vehicle is that glass from then?
Right.
So you're telling me now too, for sure there's not only multiple guns, but multiple vehicles in this. So a drive-by, like Melly's saying, does sound legit.
They went back and looked over the car again. So they must have
didn't
felt
show you
like
that
we need more.
stuff for
I mean, that's the only
whatever
reason you would do that. At Ryan Barlson from Twitter, Terry, what does the gang's expert testimony mean, or the gang experts' testimony mean for Melly?
Well, the gang expert was trying to give the jury a little bit of background about gangs and the signals they use. And
Google Ads helps you turn curiosity into customers who are interested in what your business has to offer. Now you can reach people based on what they're curious about. Google Ads, turn curiosity into customers. Visit ads.google.com to learn more.
Tent enthusiasts get it done. They can set up a tent before you can say, where's the bug spray?
how they incorporate what they're doing in their music and what they do on the street. And then during the direct examination, the prosecutor was trying to tie in what Melly was doing, and the gang expert was trying to basically say that some of the signals that Melly used was related to the gang. He's trying to say he's part of the Bloods, the fact that they changed the name out for C's and B's. But I don't think that that expert really put Melly in the gang. The prosecution wants to make sure that this is gang related because that is one of the aggravating factors for that death penalty. So that's why that expert was on the stand. Based on what I saw, I don't think there was enough of a connection, although I will say I was watching the poll, and after the expert was on the stand talking about the gang, it did go up a little bit as far as maybe Melly was guilty. So I think that gang affiliation might have done something as far as swaying some people's opinions, at least
Well,
for
I
our
feel like we've
viewers.
got somebody here. Terry, who can answer the question for us. Bradford, you were his lawyer. Christine Bradley, the assistant state attorney, says that he, at the time of these homicides, she said it in her opening statement, was doing this whole loyalty oath and learning about it for the G Shine Blood set. So is your former client a member of the Bloods? Is he a gang member?
I think that the angle that the state is taking is to throw, and they often do this, is to throw as much mud as they can towards the defendant and try and dirty them up as much as they can. And that shows to me an act of desperation. And it also shows that, it's time to see the real evidence in the case. The real evidence they presented so far is telephone evidence, and that telephone evidence was very weak because they can't say whether or not the individual was in the car. They can't say whether Mr. Demons ever pulled the trigger. They don't have a gun. They have no DNA. They have no gunshot residue on Mr. Demons. So the holes in this case, to me, and especially when I first got the case, I thought the holes were insurmountable for the state. Now, a case is like, I always compare a case to 12 rounds of a boxing match. The first 3 rounds could go to one guy, and then all of a sudden the other guy comes on very strong. In this case, who's ahead on the card is definitely the defense, because they still haven't addressed the biggest holes in the case. They keep dancing around that bush. They keep dancing around those facts about actually putting him in the car at the time of the shooting. But sooner or later, they're going to have to address that. They can put people on the stand. And in this case, the gang expert, who I'm familiar with, because I've handled a lot of cases concerning gangs, and I'm familiar with them. And I think it was a big misstep on behalf of the state to have him wear a mask. I understand why he needs to wear the mask, or why he is apprehensible about revealing his face because there's so many cameras in the courtroom. But I think the jury does not like that. Juries like transparency. Juries like the putting forward the idea of justice, right? So when a guy takes the stand and has a mask on that kind of looks like a robbery mask, has this mask on, it doesn't make a jury feel good. And that's why you saw those questions from the jury. Hey, can he take off his mask? I feel a certain way. Those are all going to be appellate issues, by the way, if he loses.
Right.
I can't see why they would have done that. I wouldn't have done that. I would have set up the screen, or I would have done something else to where he could address the jury, but still be blocked from the pews.
Well, he said he has a bounty on his head, Danny Polo,
Yeah.
and he has testified in other cases with that mask on. But Bradford, you know, briefly, just yes or no, was Melly a gang member at the time that this happened?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, first of all, anything that Melly would have told me would have been attorney-client privilege. That's number one. And number two is I have no idea if he is or if he's not. We didn't even start researching that.
Quiet there, sir. Now, again, the same guy who sat outside of the courthouse without his mask for over an hour.
Because we thought it was such a non-issue.
Idiot.
Okay, great. We're going to take a quick break, everybody. Stay with us. Keep the questions coming to us on YouTube, Twitter.
So, okay. What do you think? For sure is a lack of evidence to have someone on death penalty, facing death penalty.
Yeah. And I don't understand a lot of it. Like, we see the pictures of the vehicle. It's got bullet holes in the door and stuff. So someone was obviously shooting from outside. But they're saying he's the killer and he was inside the vehicle. How did that work?
Literally.
Is it? A lot of it just doesn't make sense to me.
So you can see how this back window is all shot up, right?
Yeah.
And again, see, bullets in the back seat. Melly was in the back, but they're gonna say, yeah. And so was somebody else in the back. But now the place right here, okay, so in here, I'll have to find a better picture, but there's broken glass laying somewhere in this picture. I can't find it, but a bunch of broken glass and two different kinds of shells. So there's multiple different guns. And they're going to say the glass that is out here where the drive-by happened is not the glass that's from this. So what's the other vehicle then? What vehicle did that other glass come from then if it's not from that?
Multiple guns, multiple vehicles.
And they're trying to say, well, he was in the back and the drive-by, how did he miss out or whatever? Well, look at the back did get shot up. So even if he was in the back, you know, which there's alleged he was in there, wasn't in there, whatever. But there's bullets that definitely hit in the back seat. So if he was in there, he's lucky he got out of there alive then, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's
unless they're saying
weird.
like it was a planned thing, and when they pulled up, he got out and started firing into the vehicle with the other people. But
why would he do that?
yeah, but all those bullet holes, like you can tell that it's the bullet traveling into the car, not traveling out of the car.
Yeah. So we're gonna definitely have to we're gonna bring more of this to you. Like, I just started following this, but the little bit that I'm seeing, I'm like, I been saying, like, I don't understand how he is, first of all, still in jail. 2023, 2018 this happened. How is he not out on bond or something, at least? And there is no evidence that would lead me as a juror to convict someone as a death penalty with this. That's crazy. There's... What do you guys think?
I agree. Yeah.
And do you guys think that he's guilty or innocent? Like...
I think he's innocent.
Well, I don't really know anything, but I don't think there's any evidence really saying he is guilty, so...
You don't see enough that they should have a death penalty on a 23-year-old male?
No.
Or anyone, male, female. So, we're going to be following this. We'll bring more to you. Please do some research on your own if you're interested in this case, but it's one that we chit-chat together about, so we will plan another live stream and talk about it, because tomorrow is another day of trial, so maybe Tuesday afternoon we'll gather around again and chit-chat. So follow along if you want. This is true crime, and this is a true crime case, so that's what I'm doing right now. And there's also a couple other cases. I'm going to be helping with a young gentleman that I've talked about his case before, but his mom's been in touch again, who's actually doing a life sentence over marijuana. So she would like more attention on that, and we can actually be in touch with her son and stuff like that, and be able to give him an outlet to discuss his case. And in my opinion, a wrongful conviction, even if people think that he's guilty, let me tell you, he should not be in prison no more. Like, give this man a chance at getting out over some marijuana. Like, honestly, you guys, they're treating him like he's some drug kingpin or something. It's ridiculous. He is just a young white male that I think was trying to make extra money to pay for college and like help his family out, and it just all went terribly wrong. But again, it's marijuana, and he is not looking at ever being free again, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
so
it is.
we will want to bring more awareness to that. So that's, you guys know that I can't just come on the channel and talk just to talk, and the same old fuckery that's going on. I did my hot topics on the whole Ziggy and Fred bullshit. I have a little more to say on that, but just not today. But I think that's it for tonight. You have anything you would like to say? The girls' Cash App Gang is in the comments. if you want to give them a little treat. It is pinned in the comments. Bambi's, Jules's. Thank you for hanging out tonight. We knew we weren't going to get like the big numbers because it's not the drama. Or Ben Hill drama, or their same fuckery, or creator on creator hate or whatever. But again, what is what it is. Whatever. But love y'all. Thanks so much. And we will we'll be talking about this again on Tuesday, because we got to see what happens tomorrow and how tomorrow goes for Melly. But for now, I say free Melly. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yep.
So far, free Melly. Okay? Love y'all. Bye. Oh, girls, you got to do the bye.
Bye.
Bye.